Hello, and thank you for joining us in this presentation. This presentation is going to cover a basic overview of Sostac. And what Sostac is, it's a framework used for marketing and business planning. It's ranked the top 3 most popular marketing models in Smart Insights, a website owned by Dave Chaffee, a very popular digital marketer. But it was originally created in the 1990s by a writer and a speaker, Peter Smith. The framework has a great reputation, and this framework can tie into many different aspects of business and marketing. Today we're going to really look at Sostac. We're going to look at the 5 S's of Sostac. We're going to look at Sostac's interrelationship with race. So I'm going to explain these a bit more now in the coming slides. This presentation is brought to you by myself, Kieran, Philip, and Aidan. Okay, so moving on to slide number 2, and what we're going to do on slide number 2 is we're going to show you what Sostac stands for. And Sostac stands for Situation Analysis, Objectives, Strategy, Tactics, Action, and Control. Looking at the first element, and that's the situation analysis. And what you might ask yourself then is, where are we now? So where is the company now? And one of the questions that will arise from that, it would be things like current performance of the company, and what's the brand and commercial goals of the company, the marketplace opportunities, the competitors and the competitor benchmarking, customer insight, and then you could look at customer personas, and also come back to competitors, and yourself you would look at maybe SWOT. You'd probably do a SWOT analysis. Coming on to the second part of Sostac, and that's the objectives. Where we want to be, where we want to go. So it's defining a vision, and also aligning the business goals together, setting objectives. When it comes to objectives, it's very important that the company, the business, sets smart objectives. What I mean by smart objectives, I mean by specific, measurable, actionable and relevant time-related goals. This will save you hassle later on down the line, so you make sure everything's attainable and in a time frame. Moving on from the objectives, we come to the strategy. So this means pretty much how are we going to get there. From setting our objectives, we want to put a plan of action in place. So things you'll ask yourself then when you come to the strategy would be things you'd want to watch and monitor would be like segmenting and targeting the market and positioning yourself and doing like a market mix so that your target market and the customers you're trying to reach can see you, so using things like social media and SEO and stuff, using different content strategies and engaging and trying to relate to your customers whichever way you may want. The strategy pretty much means is how are you going to set about fulfilling the objectives that the company or business made. Moving on from the strategy, then you're going to come to the tactics and the action. It's going to be like you're going to set out pretty much like 90-day plans and digital roadmaps and making sure all the resources of the company and business are allocated and in a position that you can use as you go along. So pretty much what do we need to get there? And then coming to the end is the control. Be able to monitor and control the performance of the company, but also make sure that the members of the company are really familiar with the tools, how to use them, because again I see this as some companies they have all the tools but they're not really using them great, so stick to one good tool that you know how to use and get the most out of that. And then really what comes down to the last thing with control is prioritizing the actions of the company. So you're controlling every week or month or so, and you're controlling the actions and you're reviewing everything, but it's prioritizing the actions that you make going forward, so making sure the company doesn't hit a wall and keep making forward and keep reaching those goals that were set out earlier on. So moving on from the second slide to the next few slides, these are looking at in more detail the 5 S's. And what the 5 S's stand for, they are sell, speak, serve, save, and sizzle. They're known as the 5 S's of digital marketing, and it's a good starting point to make sure that you're covering the whole area of digital marketing, not just sales. And the 5 S's was developed by a guy called Peter Smith, the co-author of E-Marketing Excellence. Great book, actually. This concept was developed around 2002. It's very basic strategy, but it covers the main goals of every business. So when you're looking at sell, it's as basic as it comes. It's grow your sales, sell more. And many ways to do this through online, and these are covered in 4 topics and stuff like that. Moving on, it's speak, and that's how you're going to get close to your customers, how you engage with your customers through dialogue and participation. Moving on, is serve, and so how you're going to add value to your customers. And the website, like how you're going to serve your customers through a website. So again, another thing with online is where you go with customers is the customer service online, 24-hour feedbacks and all these kind of things. And looking at how your company can serve the customers better, not only through the user experience, but also customer service. Moving on is save. Again, coming to digital. You can save costs left, right and centre. There's so many ways you can save costs. Just speaking before with customer service, you can do it all online and have no bricks and mortar buildings. Just keep everything online, keep everything digital. Again, things like printing, post, again, do it online. Get rid of some of the traditional media aspects and moving on to things like emails. The last one is sizzle. This is one of the most important and my favourite topic of the 5 lessons. So expanding on sizzle a little bit more. It's about it's all about building your brand, and you're going to build your brand through various platforms. So it's going to be done through your website and SEO, and it's going to be done by social media. But since social media has really come to the forefront in digital marketing as of late, we're going to expand a bit more on social media. And what we're really going to talk about today, and that's in the next coming slides you're going to see, is it's Facebook for small and medium businesses. So why use Facebook for business? And I'm going to tell you right now why you use Facebook for business. So 60% of the Fortune 500 companies have a Facebook page. So if a Fortune 500 company has a Facebook page, you should have a Facebook page. 77% of business-to-customer companies say they acquire new customers through Facebook. So 77, 3 out of 4 companies say they get new customers through Facebook. And likes lead to purchases. 56 of customers said they are more likely to recommend a brand if they saw it on Facebook. 56 people. Like, just in the audience engaging on Facebook for businesses this year, the brand interaction has increased 176%. And that's a positive, but it's also a negative because there's a lot more competition. The average Facebook user has 130 friends, and they like approximately 80% of pages. So, sorry, not 80% of pages, 80 pages. So, for you to get one of those likes, it's quite a bit of competition out there now with all the companies that are using it. But if you target the customer correctly and you do all the other things that we spoke about in Sostac, you should be able to be one of those 80 pages. 80% of social media users in the US prefer to connect through brands through Facebook. So that's another big take-home point. And coming to the last slide, we have a few points that we'd like to cover, and it's pretty much just showing the social network accounts in Ireland. So with the population in Ireland, out of every person in Ireland that is on social media, 59% of those are connected to Facebook. So this is very important to the Irish businesses, because if 59% of people that connect to all social media using Facebook, you can really use this to network and build relationships with your customers and to promote events and engage with them through events and competitions. So coming to the questions and answers, one of the most frequent questions that we hear at the agency is that why are you choosing to use Sostac as a framework to go with for our company? And I say this, and I'm going to answer this from experience, and it's pretty much down to, it's the simplest framework to use. Whether you know something about digital marketing or you don't, whether you know something about business or you don't, once you follow the guidelines that we will set out, it's fairly easy to go through. I just want to say thanks very much for taking the time out of your day to listen and to watch this podcast, this slideshow. For more information, you can find us at thesnackline@gmail.com. Again, thank you very much for listening.